Hello.
Hello.
Okay, how are you?
I'm okay.
Good. Are you clear with the phone? No earpiece, no Bluetooth. I mean, not no Bluetooth, but no speakerphone. You're holding it.
I'm holding it, but I do have my earpieces in.
Okay, that's fine. As long as you stay consistent, that's all that matters. How was your day?
What's a day?
Gonna need you to speak up a little bit. You sounded a little mumbly just now.
I said it was a day.
Okay, so you know how this goes, right? You ready? We're rolling.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna let you just take the lead. I want to, of course, know your thoughts. I'm sure you have heard as my number one supporter. Just want you to know I appreciate that. And thank you for just being there for me all these long years. If I was to ever win an award, I'd have to bring you on stage with me. You know how that goes.
I hear you. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so you about ready?
So yeah, just give me your thoughts, views, and comments. I'm going to try to keep us well under 30 minutes. I've noticed that my live streams lately, the shorter ones, have been getting a little more duration in terms of the ratings. I usually don't pay that any attention. I just do what I do, and if I guess anyone listens, fine. If they don't, it's okay. But I guess if I try to follow some of the guidelines to make a better presentation, I guess I can do that. So you just tell me your
Okay.
thoughts, views, comments, or would you rather me just do like everyone else and just ask questions first?
Well, yes. Ask me some questions first.
Okay.
One or two questions first.
Okay, that's what we'll do. I'll start off. My
Okay.
normal question is, first of all, you did read. Hold on, I'm getting a distraction.
Mhm.
Hold on. I can't respond to that right this very second. So you did read the entire thing, other than the
Yes, I did.
special section, and did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did. I didn't get to the special section yet, though.
You did not.
No, I did not. I
Okay,
asked
that's
you.
fine. You mean you got to it, you just didn't read it.
Correct.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I have to be careful with you because when you say you didn't get to it, I we had discussed that already, and I know you didn't. You were not going to read that. That was in your own time. So let's just get on with it. Was it for you? First of all, enjoyable? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Was it more educational, informational, or entertaining for you?
Informational.
And did you at any point in time think to yourself, wow? Or was it all just kind of relaxing? Did you have any moments of where you stood up or you sat down or you changed your whole disposition?
Um, Say that again for me because I'm not understanding. Like when you say like,
Okay, were there any
you know what?
moments
Minute,
that
wait a
grab?
minute. Okay, yes, I would say it was a while, so I had to think about it. And some things was like a wow is yes. So yes, some things was like a wow.
Okay, so that's
Mhm.
that's my introductory question. I want you to tell me this and then I'll let you take the lead. Tell me the one thing you read or the feeling. It can be a chapter or an emotion you may have felt. Tell me what stood out to you the most.
What stood out to me the most, I would say, is far as your relationships with siblings and also relationships, marriages.
Okay, what in particular? What stood
What
out
in
more
particular?
than anything? Give me what, when you walked away, what did you think about the longest and the most?
Okay, I would say it's well, I would say both of them. Both of them stood out to me in
Both of
things
them
when it
what?
comes both the relationships between siblings and between and particularly your last spouse.
Okay. All right, so
And
dive into it. What
mm,
what in particular? I just want to know one thing.
okay, so the relationship wise is say like in for instance with siblings and I would say probably maybe a lack of communication and clarity. And then what I say about with your last spouse is your heart and you took out time to take care of her in the moments that she needed.
Okay. All right.
And to go just to go through all the other drama that was included with that one. And it just take, I say, a strong individual to go through all that.
When you say drama, what do you mean?
Just any of the drama that you went through as far as like afterwards of having to go to court, them
Okay.
want to fight over her things of her when she stated what she wanted in the will, with her going to her mother and saying to her mother what her wishes was, and to do something totally opposite of what her daughter wanted.
Oh
So
boy.
just enduring all of that.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess you did read and you are getting a little deep. We don't want to cause any spoilers, but I'm not going to hold you back.
Okay.
Okay, so any questions you want to ask me? Because I do want to stay within our time, but you just let one of those, there's probably about 10 cats in the bag. You just let one of them out, and he's going, meow. So there's
Well,
9 cats left.
sometimes, well, sometimes just be specific and, just saying try not to or whatever, but it is what it is. So, and someone, it may be when someone else read it that it would capture their attention into what something they need to hear for themselves and their own personal situation.
So that is what stood out to you more than anything else.
But just your guide in life, just the things that you have gone through, and you it's not necessarily okay. Say for instance, like we don't all know what each one of us go through, and I would say you as being a single parent for so many years and being a male, for me as a woman, I can sit up there and say, and I was a single parent myself for my boys, and that is similarities but difference.
Okay. You have
So,
any
in mhm.
Your pauses are like just, I feel like a clock is ticking because I don't know what you just said. I'm not sure I understand. So I want to jump right in. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What questions do you have for me?
Okay. So I'm reviewing forward, and it was, I do have several
Oh, I
questions.
have one for you real quick. Get to your questions
Okay.
while I'm asking you this. I had one reviewer say something about being traumatized and or tortured. Did you? I'm sure you heard that particular one. And again, thanks for being a loyal subscriber. I really appreciate it. Do you feel that same way? Do you feel like my life was traumatizing and torturous?
I wouldn't use those words.
Okay. What words would you use?
I would.
Oh my God, never
I would
mind.
say,
Go ahead. What
wait
are
a
your
minute. No,
questions?
don't say never mind, okay? Because this is me. So allow me to be me. I would not use those words, because it's just life experiences that you have gone through. It's life ups and downs that you have gone through. And to be at the point that you was able to express it through writing, or even in your conversations, and that you have been able to do, I just say it's phenomenal, because it's not everyone that can do that or even reach to that point.
Well,
Or
the way you're using everyone, I don't want you to sound as if my life is so special or so unique. I guess it is unique in its own way, but you're saying not everyone, but I think many people than you know have survived some trying times and are doing well. Are you saying that what you read and what I shared is that outstanding? That it's, prize winning in some kind of way? Because I still have reservations as to whether or not I should have written or published, or whether sometimes one of my questions is it book worthy? Is it worth even reading? So when you say that, I get the impression that maybe you think I'm special in some kind of way, or my experiences were special. Is that what?
no, I'm not gonna. That's not what I'm saying. Is that you got to the point where you were able to turn around and write it. A lot of, well, I would say not everyone, and it does take a special characteristic for someone to get to that point of writing and sharing that information down, because you're actually sharing your own personal testimony. So that within itself speak above, not necessarily, it's not saying that you're above others, but just above the circumstances
Okay, I can get with that.
that you right, so that you're able to share that out to other people, that someone may not get it right away. Somebody might stick the book and say, okay, I'm gonna just buy the book and stick it up in their closet for 10 years and wait to read it,
Hmm.
or whatever the case it may be. But I would say that it is a good read. It is very informational, and it can resonate with someone at one point.
Okay, so you're glad you read it.
Yes, I am. I'm glad I did.
On a scale from 1 to 10, based on what you've known of me of the past few years, how much more enlightened are you about my personality than you were before you read it, from 1 to 10?
I would give it a 9.
So you are that much? That's a lot. So that's almost as if you didn't know much at all, but this just brought a whole lot more information into your psyche about who I am and how and why I am the way I am. So that much, you were that much informed?
It's not, I didn't even say how much I was informed about it. I've, I've asked myself some questions and said, okay, why at times in conversations that we have, why this reaction? But and I'm not going to say that it was that I got how I want to be right in my words. I had a feeling, like when I would get certain reactions out of you in certain conversations, it was like I had a feeling, but the book answered questions for me.
Okay.
And sometimes when we're going through certain things in life, and so it gave me a better understanding, and it taught me as well. Sometimes it's good, a lot of times rather, as not to open my mouth or even to think of a judgmental state, to say, okay, well, this person is talking. That's just like, okay, let's use this example. Like if I call someone and I want to speak about something, and I just want to speak about it, and I don't want to hear their commentary about it. I just want to speak to release. Like if I'm going to therapy, more than likely when you go to therapy, you don't get all of that. So that's what I would say in regards to that. That's how I try to position myself when someone is speaking to me directly and indirectly.
Okay. So
Because it is at times.
what are your questions?
Now I got to pull this back up.
I told you to hold on to that spot because
I
now we're
couldn't listen. I put it into the phone. Stop. I can't. Like when I talk, I'm not reading the question.
okay. I apologize. All right.
No, it's okay. Okay. So, while you were writing your book, did you learn anything differently regarding friendships and family?
Yes, I did. And I'm not sure if I would say I learned anything as much as I may have been cautious. As I was writing, I had so many emotions as to how someone may respond, how they may feel, or what they may think. One of my viewers asked if I thought about what my family or my friends or anyone that I may have, acknowledged how they would feel or what they would think. And that answer was yes. Every day that I wrote that I mentioned a unique experience, I thought about it. And I can't say I learned anything because everybody that I guess acknowledged had I had an experience, so there wasn't much to learn. But I was focused on what type of response I could be triggering from anyone that I may have acknowledged. Is that answering your question? Because you asked it, what did I learn? I'm not sure if I learned anything, but I paid quite a bit of attention to my family and others that I acknowledged as to how I would say what I would say and would try to say it in the most respectful and considerate way.
Okay. Okay. Now, this is something else right here as I was reading. Is there a difference between working in the church or outside of the church industry?
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
Okay. You did ministry work as in with your musician inside the church, correct?
Yeah, I was sure I participated in ministry helps. I was a musician and I did play in the band. So yes, I'm not sure I
Okay.
understand your question.
So, okay. So, wait a minute. Let's go over that because I do want to review that question over again. Okay. So, I'm going to have to go back to that one. On that one. Okay. In chapter 4, you have a saying in there that says, people that are after me are indeed behind me. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Exactly what does that mean?
Meaning, if you're focused on, I guess I was using a play on words. Anytime I was concerned about anyone that may have been any form of threat to my safety or my sanity or my peace. And I recall making that statement, and I was just bringing some relief to myself and saying that what's more important to us is what's ahead of us. That's why, the story about the rear view and the side view mirrors. They're so small and the windshield is large for a reason. So I guess I was trying to encourage myself in saying that if someone is after me in any kind of way, they're behind me. So that makes them less important to my focus and my goal and my purpose. So I made that statement. Just, I guess maybe it's something I could coin. Anyone that's after me is behind me. So I was just saying what's ahead of me is more important than anyone that's behind me or after me.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm just figuring over that. I didn't have too many. So with your life lessons or your life experiences that you have, how would you install that into your grandchildren?
I think the way I live in general is an example to anyone, not just my grandchildren. I think with the wisdom I've acquired and that I've established over the years with my knowledge and understanding, I think how I live and how I speak and how I respond is is a way within itself. It's an example. So how I'm responding now in my communication and conversation now is not the same as 20 or 30 years ago. So to answer your question, I think just the way I will be, my anyone, not just my grandchildren, how I live my life now is a reflection of how I want to be remembered. I try to have a high level of integrity. I have a high level of ethics. I like to say what I mean and mean what I say. I know I'm not perfect. I know I fall short. But for the most part, if I say something, I mean it. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it. If I even set a goal for myself, I think it's worth, keeping your word. That's very, very important. So how I live is what how I would try to instill something good in not only my grandchildren but anyone that I have the honor and privilege of interacting with. Just trying to be the best that I can be, living to my highest potential.
Okay. Okay. So, when the idea of you writing a book was coming to pass, did you fast before, during, and after you wrote your book?
You mean in terms of when you say fast, are you talking about fasting and as in disciplining myself, refraining from either food or activities?
Whichever way that you would choose to do a fast.
Absolutely. Yes, there were many days where I needed to go into a meditation mode and I would refrain from many things, not just food,
Mm-hmm.
just time on the internet and just when I just needed to
Mm-hmm.
focus and meditate. There were times when
Mm-hmm.
I would be talking about something in particular. I would need guidance and even in the editing process in particular, there are a lot of things I tried to edit to the best of my ability because I wanted the freedom to express myself. I know that no matter what, if I had written and edited 1,000 more times, somebody was going to have something to say, good, bad, and indifferent. But yes, there were many times I had to stop, think, and pray and fast as well. So, yes, I took a lot of time to concentrate before I made my final submissions in terms of the manuscript itself. So yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, this is going to be my final question for tonight. Do you have anything else for me before this question?
No, but I'm having to be mindful of your communication style. I'm hoping that my audience in this review will be as helpful and educational as all of the rest. We go back, far enough to where I guess I can be patient with you like I expect you to be patient with me. I'm just hoping that we're clearly understanding each other and that what we're saying is going to be useful in terms of calling it a review. I
Okay.
have three or four more of these I'm going to do. And I said to
Hmm.
someone else earlier today that I was doing a soft launch. This is just, I'm still in the publication stage. I'm not even going to do a promotion until the end of the
Hmm.
year. So this is just my way of getting some initial feedback before I try to go mainstream with any kind of promotion. So thank you
Okay.
for being patient with me. And I guess that's it. So if you do have one final question, this must be a big one. You're saving it for last.
I don't necessarily think it's like a big one or whatever, but I did ask the question. I said, well, why ask me for an interview? And although we have known each other for a while, but it's been what I think 10, 11, 12 years, something like that.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was just wondering, specifically why me for an interview. And I just asked that question because of we know each other, but
Okay, I'll answer
we
that question. And I guess
okay.
this is coming out of left field. The primary reason I ask you in particular is because I believe your heart. I believe your true intentions is to support what it is I do. You make it clear to me when we talk, off record that, you're not in favor of my thoughts sometimes and things that I say and the way I look at things. And I believe you're genuine in that. But I really believe you want what's good and what's best for me. And I believe you are truly my friend. I believe you support what it is that I do in terms of my live stream swim, say what you mean. I just believe you are a true and loyal supporter, although you may not agree with everything. I believe you believe in my vision and you have shown it by your continuous support and just being there when I want feedback from you. So to have this book and to get all this feedback from everyone else, naturally I was concerned because you know how I am with your communication. You are a little hesitant when you talk, and you are way more country than me. So when I listen to your voice, it's like, oh my God, would you go ahead and get on with it? But I value what you bring to the table in terms of your genuineness, your loyalty, and your true friendship to me. So I really appreciate you and I respect you. Although, yeah, you do take a long time, and if I could just edit out all of these long pauses and the other stuff, I that would be great. But I have to be respectful of how you communicate. So I ask you because I wanted your genuineness.
I'm sorry, I am chuckling because you with the country thing, but
You
she
know
is
your
no
country,
way.
and listen,
She
anybody
is no,
listening
she is not, honey. She is not country, okay?
who is not
And
country.
but I'm not country.
Okay, if you
Country.
say you're
I
not,
no. Listen. No, I have gotten that all my life, and they would say, "Well, how in the world you are from South Florida, born and raised, but sound like you from the countryside?" I'm like, I don't
well, South
know,
Florida is the
but
country. Most people that I have met
man,
from South Florida, me being from
listen.
North Carolina, there are people, and of course, Florida is much more south than North Carolina. You sound just like a Southerner. And yes, you do sound country. I ain't ashamed to tell it, and I don't feel like it's an insult. Your Southern drawl is who you are. You should be proud of it. But yes, you
Well,
are
maybe.
country, and you do talk a little more hesitant. I want to say slow, but it could be taken the wrong way. But yes, you do take quite a bit of time to say stuff, much longer than me. And I know I need to work on myself. And I'm the host of the podcast, and I need to work on my delivery. So again, I had to get past your communication style. I got the meat of what you had to ask me, and I'm grateful and I have no regrets. I will air this just like I aired the other ones. And there are, like I said, 3 or 4 more that I'm waiting for. And then I'm just going to let the book cook. I'm going to let the book cook. You get it? That rhymes. For a while. And then around the end of the year, I'm going to do some more promotion. So there you go. So is that it? We're done. I thought you were going to be tough.
What do you mean by
Well, you did start out pretty tough when you
it's going
went
to be?
into one of those subjects that's a little still touchy for me, but we got off of that real fast, and maybe I'll get into that with some of my other reviews. But I just, for some reason, I thought you'd have some more different and or in-depth comments or questions. But it's okay. I'm glad we're done. We're within our time and we can cut it short. If you have some more questions, thoughts, views, or comments, we can do it again, either on or off record. So I'll just let that be it. If you're done, I am too.
No, I didn't. I'm not going to ask you anything offline that I didn't say online because I don't want anything to go back and say, okay, why didn't you guys say that online or whatever? But I pretty much feel like when I read it, like for instance, when you talked about your father, I feel like I got a clear understanding about that one, and I don't, when it comes down to that. So it's just different things that I saw that you've
Okay, we
experienced
have a
throughout
bad line. Let
your
me
life.
just try to get a better line because it's cutting up really bad. So stay by and answer real quick.
Hello.
Okay, yeah, let's go. What you said something about my father, but we've got to wind up now. So go ahead and make your
No,
closing
but I don't
statements.
wind up. No, I just said, I thought it was clear in your book when talked about your relationship with your father and fixed and I didn't think that it was like unnecessary question to turn around and ask. For me, it was just clear about it. So things was just clear inside of your book in regards of it. But if I would do it again for
I don't
the
know
time.
why I'm having a problem with your voice. It sounds like it's cutting out. If you say you're on an earpiece, that's fine, but it's cutting out.
Let me take the earpiece out my ear, Travis, and go to the call. Hello.
Okay.
How about now?
Okay, so what I think you're saying is that everything you read and you were focusing on the chapter about my father, you're saying everything was clear. There was no misunderstanding. You got everything, you understand everything, and it all made sense to you.
I got everything. I understood everything. I don't know necessarily that it all, made sense to me because what you chose to write about is what you chose to write about. So I do think that there is more inside of you in regards to, um, an extension of certain relationships, certain situations.
Okay, well, I couldn't write about everything, and I had to
Right.
give, as I had to be wanted to be as brief as possible and as concise as I could. So you're right. Yeah, there is a whole lot more, and that's why I read, hoping that anyone that would review with me officially, or if anyone would, I guess, eventually write to me or ask me questions, would want to know some of the extensiveness of what I was trying to say. But for the most part, I said what I could remember. And it dawned on me, one of my reviews asked me about why I was writing. As I was going through that one incident that happened towards the end, it started to trigger some of these things. I did not want to let that moment pass without exposing it and or revealing it. So as I was writing about those experiences and going through it, it was triggering other childhood things. So, or not even childhood, just, just things in the past that I just thought I would write about. Of course, I couldn't write about everything. But there you go. We got to wind up now because I don't want to be too long.
Okay.
But I thank you again, and unless you have any, is that it? Is that the last?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
I
Yes.
thank you for your time and your interest and your support of my efforts. I will continue to call this, a big, long, gigantic, enormous therapy session for me because I'm still getting to talk about it. And I don't think I have any serious hangups. When I talk about therapy and going to a therapist and getting some of this stuff out of me, I don't think I'm disturbed. I don't think I'm any different from anybody else. Some people go
Right.
through things. I'm just a little more expressive with mine. I'm not embarrassed to talk about it. And I'm not concerned that someone would have an opinion about my way of expressing myself, especially as it
Mm-hmm.
relates to this memoir. So I'm okay. I'm having fun talking about it. And I look forward to other things that will come from this effort. So thank you again for your input, your feedback, your support, and I look forward to hearing from you more as we move
Okay.
along.
Okay. You're quite welcome. Anytime for you.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll chat soon. Thank you again. We'll get up.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Take care.
Okay.
All
You
right.
too. Bye.
Okay, well, there you have it. There goes another one, just like the other one. That one was pretty tough. That's my good friend. I don't do names on purpose, but she's someone that I met through my church community, and she's been a sister, in Christ, and a loyal friend and the supporter of my efforts when I first started with the COVID concert series. She was always there, and she's someone that is just, a really good friend of mine. I have a great deal of respect for her, and I appreciate her time. If you have not gotten the book, go and get it. It's at Barnes. Well, it's at Amazon now, working on Barnes and Noble, but Apple Books also, and my website, travisbridges.com. It is a memoir. It's entitled "My Mother's Fifth Child," and it's subtitled "Reveal and Expose." It gives you some insight on who I am, why I am the way I am, and just some basic information about life, and my life in particular. Okay, with that being said, find someone you need to say I love you to. Don't just say it, show it, mean it, let it be true. Okay, take care.